Hi, and thanks for purchasing the Hanging Holiday Greetings template. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you really quickly how to replace your text if you need to, how to replace your logo. And also, when you change the text, you may need to move around these strings that help bring in the text. And I'll show you how to do that also. So let's look at our first timeline that we have open. It's the Greetings compilation timeline. And this is just all 5 of the animated greetings edited together. You can definitely render these individually. So you don't have to render the entire thing preview. You can just do one at a time. So let's start with changing the text in one of these animations, and we'll do this one, the Holly Jolly Christmas. If we go to our project panel, go to the Replace Text Here folder, and then let's twirl open the Have a Holly Jolly Christmas folder. So let's double click on Replace Text 01, and it's the Have a line. And you'll see that this is a text layer when it has a T next to it in the timeline. If you double click on that layer, you'll see that our text is now highlighted, and now you can start typing. If you go to your character panel, you can change the font here. You can't really change the color, and I'll show you where you can do that. The color is actually a glitter texture, and I'll show you. There's a lot of pre-comps in here, so I'll show you where to find that. So if we go back here, you'll see that's a little bit cut off. So you'll want to go to the Have a Strings layer, double click on that to open that pre-comp. We had a mask on this earlier, so you want to just move that mask over. You just grab those points and sort of move them out of the way. All right, and then if you want to double click on the Have a Pre-comp to open that one up as well, you'll see that this is a little bit too small. So if you right click on the Have a Pre-comp tab, go to Composition Settings, and you can change the width of this composition here. Click OK, there we go. And for the color, like I was saying earlier, there's a texture that's being alpha matted onto the text layer. And it's this labeled white texture. And if you go into our elements folder, go to the textures folder, you can see we have different types of glitter textures that you can replace. If you want to change that color for any reason, you can do the, let's see, hue, saturation, color correction. Double click on that, and there's some levels already applied, but you can turn that off and go to colorize, and you can use these controls to change the color right in there. So that's one option. If you wanted to change the color of any of those text layers, you would have to do it in the pre-comps. And again, those are found in the project panel in the elements folder, text pre-comps, and then those are subdivided into each scene. Okay, so we changed our text, and now if we go to our strings composition, you'll see these strings might be okay, but let's see one of them at the very ends of the text. As you can see in the timeline, we have our pre-comp, and we also have these 2 layers. They're labeled rope, and you have one for the left side and the right side. And let's say you wanted to move those. You select that layer and you hit P for position. And then you can scrub on the number on the left, that's your X position. And then the number on the right is the Y position. You can move that up and down, and they'll be attached to your new text layer. So let's go back to our Holly Jolly Christmas composition, and there we go. Our text is updated, and you would just repeat that for each text layer that you wanted to change. All right, and one more thing you probably obviously want to change is your logo. So if you go to our project panel, go to the Replace Logo Here folder, open that up, and double click on the Replace Logo Here composition. And you'll see the Envato logo is included. You can either delete or turn off those layers. And next you want to go to File, Import File, and you want to go ahead and import your logo. And then just select that layer and drag and drop it into the timeline. You can hit S on your keyboard to scale down your layer. There we go. And you want to have it pushed up to the top. The reason you don't want to have it in the middle is because the line attaches to the top of this composition. So we're going to place this towards the top. And so I'm going to mask this out because I have two different layers going on in here. And if we go back to our Holly Jolly Christmas, you'll see our new logo. And the strings may not be attached to it because it's a different logo shape. You want to double click the With Love banner and logo strings comp, open that up, and you'll see this layer, shape layer called Logo Strings. If you twirl that down and go into its contents, you'll see these two shape layers. What you can do is just drag those over. So they're now attached to that banner in a more realistic way. So if for any reason you want to change these ornaments in the backgrounds, the stars, the flowers, the holly, you can go into each scene and then you'll see these layers that are all labeled. There's our poinsettia string. If you double click on that, you'll open up this composition, the pre-comp with the string animation. And if you double click to open the poinsettia composition, you can delete what's in here or turn this off. And then you would just import your new design and then drag it into this timeline. And then it would show up here in this string. So you can change basically anything you want in this template. So thanks again for purchasing. And if you ever have any questions, you can contact me on my profile page on Video Hive. Or you can email me, marissa@fluxvfx.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thanks.